never give up on a good thing. Deep love is what you got. You got.
You're listening to 89.7 FM, Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and the Foodinfocus show. And we have our second installment in our dessert competition. So Foodinfocus is running a dessert competition, and we had Teague Izzard last week, and this week we have Stefano Manfredi. So we've got some serious heavyweights. Next week is Vincent Godin from Petite, and then we have Richard Osby, who actually won the Electrolux Appetite for Excellence Award. He is from Key. So we've got a young chap up against some serious veterans. In the studio today we have Stefano Manfredi, who has opened a new restaurant called Balla, Osteria Balla, which is at the Star. And we also have Robbie Robertson, who is from Table for 10, which is an event that is hosted for prostate cancer. We have Stuart White, and he is the Vice President of the Australian Association of Food Professionals. He is my co-judge. We are actually judging all of these desserts. Truthfully, I thought it's summer, I want to eat something really nice in the studio. How do I organize it so I can get all the chefs to bring something great? And I came up with this great idea. Stefano Manfredi, who really is, and I know that he will find this slightly offensive, but he is a godfather in terms of the industry, because he's going to think that I'm referring to him as being old, but he's not. He's actually just one of those people who's been in this industry for a while and has set a standard that other people...
And Restaurant and Caterers just awarded him the Legends Award.
Yeah. That is a huge honour. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A huge honour. You might need to talk into that microphone. I know you like to kind of sit back and do the Italian thing.
Right.
The last time I had Stefano in the show, actually you came in to do your coffees.
Yes.
And we were talking coffee.
I must have been at a different show because I thought it was about sex.
It was, but we also just filled it up with a little bit of coffee as well. Listen, you have the coffee, then you might have the sex. Or you have the sex and then you have the coffee. It all goes hand in hand. Robbie is shaking his head at me. We've got you back to Sydney. And you have opened a beautiful new restaurant called... What is the actual proper name? Because I keep calling it Osteria Balla, but I know a lot of people are referring to it as Balla.
Just Balla.
Balla.
Balla's fine.
Okay.
It's an osteria.
Osteria,
which is,
okay.
one of the levels of restaurants in Italy. You have trattoria, ristorante, osteria, cafe.
I didn't know that.
All different sort of
So
levels.
what does that mean?
But the osteria is the restaurant that keeps the flag flying for traditional Italian food, traditional regional Italian food.
We have Stefano Manfredi from Balla, who is our second person in our dessert competition. And do you know what you win?
A night out with Natasha.
That would be it. A night out with me. I would be the best person to go out. I'm fun. I am fun because I'm so sort of desperate to go out there that it all just comes crashing in one go. Right. Can you just tell us what dessert you brought?
Well, it's sort of a nod to Halloween. I've brought a pumpkin dessert.
A pumpkin dessert.
Yes, it's a sformato di zucca, which means it's a mould made from pumpkin, and I'm going to serve it with anise cream and some liquid licorice.
Okay.
It's a very traditional dessert.
Is it?
The pumpkin sformato from the part of Italy that I come from, which is the province of Brescia. We grow a lot of pumpkins, and we...
but do they do anything for All Hallows?
No, they don't.
Because Americans do this, but Europeans do have All Hallows.
We do. We have I Morti, the Day of the Dead.
That's right, you do. And so do the South Americans as well, because
Mexico, big time.
That's a huge,
time,
big thing.
yeah.
They go and visit the graves and have a party on them, and
That's right.
you do and be happy.
Well, we leave
Folk dancing on real folk.
Yeah.
You leave biscuits shaped like bones
Okay.
out for your dead relatives, and some wine or some other things, so that they come during the night while you're asleep and they're nourished. It's the only time of the year. It's this little crack in time. That's where
it's kind of nice in a way, isn't it?
It's very nice.
You
and
sort of reach out and touch. It's a
Yeah.
way of sort of assuming that those souls are kind of around you, and you get that really nice feeling. We're so not like that, are we? We just bury ours and kind of leave, or burn them up and leave. So we're actually talking about nothing to do with food as usual, and we haven't even got to sex, which means that we're really...
No, we've got a big deck. And
we've got a big deck.
Let's not talk about the clock.
Let's not talk about the clock. Now, the things that we have on the criteria for what did you knock
Sorry,
something
it's okay.
over?
Just talk amongst yourself.
The criteria that we have is There's a technique. We look at the technical side of it. We look at the wow factor. We look at whether or not you have to have a seasonal produce. So you need to use something that's seasonal and local. And you have to know something about it. So you can't tell us that, you got it from Coles. So what we're doing is we're going to send you out there with Gavin, our fantastic cameraman. And Gavin is going to film you putting that dessert together outside. And then you're going to bring it in a big wow moment.
He loves your sexy body. He loves your dirty mind. He loves when you hold him, grab him from behind.
Oh, hold on. I think we've got dessert coming in. We've got dessert coming in. Okay. Let's have a look at the dessert.
Okay, I put one in front of you.
Yeah, one in front of me.
And one in front of...
Yeah, one on the big deck.
The one in front of the other judge. That. Oh, that is just perfect.
A mini mould. Thank you. What did you use for the mould?
That is perfect. Look at that. Okay.
And a nice little bowl. There's a pool of...
That's pool.
A pool.
Didn't sound like that when you said it.
A pool of custard, if you like, just looking at it. And then within that there is a ring of pumpkin, and floating in the ring, because it's a mould that actually has an indentation in it, is then a dark liquid with a little pool again of another creamy liquid. So it's really quite dramatic looking dessert.
The custard on the outside is flavoured with aniseed. Then you have the mould. The very, very dark liquid in the middle is liquid Darrell Lee licorice.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
And then you have another little dot in the middle just to finish the target off, the bullseye of the anise cream.
Okay,
So
my
the
secret.
outer is not the anise cream as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
a little
That's
bit.
I can say, because
Yes.
it's really subtle, it's beautiful.
But you see, I don't like licorice, so I'm always interested. But that is absolutely gorgeous.
I love licorice.
It is really
I love
good.
licorice.
I find it quite overpowering. So, but that is like this amazing, creamy,
That's not overpowering.
delectable.
tells it to
It's
settle down.
gorgeous. It really does. It kind of just balances out really, really
And
beautifully.
if you taste the pumpkin by itself, it's kind of, you go, yeah, it's pumpkin.
Yeah.
But then if you have everything together, it's kind of, it kind of works.
You must never go to dinner with a whole lot of bloggers because A, they take photographs for ages and you just want to stab them in the hand after a while. And then B, they have to kind of eat. You got to go with somebody who doesn't really like to eat that much. And then you get half of their food. I've got that organized. That's how I do my review dinners.
Wolf
Have
that
you eaten
down,
your whole thing?
Stuart.
Absolutely.
You're joking.
What else would I do?
Okay, but you're
Rub a little
supposed
bit
to
behind my
try.
ear.
Okay, but you didn't even pour the second wine for us to try with it. So could you do the
Okay.
second wine? Can you talk through the wines?
I
Actually,
will. So what we have in front of us is a De Bortoli's 2007, so reasonable bottle age, but De Bortoli's bulletproof. And closest to this was the Mount Horror Cordon Cut, but again it was a 2008. So when we poured it, it was showing a fair amount of colour. And the Cordon Cut is a Riesling, a late picked dessert Riesling, and it's been the vines are cut such that it crops lightly and it intense flavours. But 2008's got the bottle age, so it's really quite a lot of residual sugar in it. So being a Riesling grape, it would have had a little more austerity had it been a little younger, and I think that probably would have been a better match with it. But certainly
the first one is definitely a much better one.
It's
I
the
mean, the
closest one
second
to
one
it.
is just like a dessert on its own. So we're also talking to Robbie Robertson, who is the chairman of Table for 10. I'm going to get him to grab the mic from you just for a second. Table for 10 is in aid of prostate cancer. It is an event that is held every single year. It started off in Sydney. It then grew to 3, and then I think 4 different states. And this year's back to 3 because apparently Brisbane, you were saying, was it Brizzy that's just been hit so hard?
Because of the floods at the beginning of the year, and we actually 5 of the restaurants that joined us last year for the inaugural Table for 10 in Brisbane actually were flooded and were completely destroyed and damaged. So we said,
Hey, you're a jinx.
Yeah, we were. It was so they said, "Listen, can we put it on hold until next year?" So, which is completely understandable. So it was just this year. We just was in Launceston, Hobart last week, and Sydney on the 8th of November.
8th of November. So how many restaurants do you have involved this year?
Across the three.
Well, in Sydney
just in
particularly.
Sydney.
Yep.
Oh, there's 38 in Sydney this year.
38 in Sydney, and what they do is they donate a table of 10.
That's correct.
And you actually go into a draw, don't you? So you buy, how much is a ticket per person?
It's $250 for the whole night, but included in that ticket is your dinner at one of the
fantastic
amazing
restaurants.
But we also, Bacchus Wine have provided all the wine for the evenings.
Okay, great.
And I've been working with the restaurants at matching the wines with their dinners. We've got beer, Peroni beer, providing all the beer for the evening. And then once you finish your dinner, we have private buses turning up to all of the restaurants to take everyone to a secret location for an after party. So everyone gets to come together
at the end and just party hard.
And party hard and
compare their restaurants and what they had.
Exactly, and tell stories and share experiences and party hard.
Now this year you drew, and this is the best story ever because Robbie actually drew Tets. He drew Tetsuyas. And I said, well, you got the inside track, don't you? But actually you said KPMG actually does all of the drawing and all the rest of it. And so you actually didn't have any hand in what you got, and you managed to get, the chairman gets Tetsuyas. So, I mean, there you go.
I was very, very excited about that. Yeah, we had the allocation evening back in June down at the Commonwealth Bank in the bank vault of the original Commonwealth Bank in Martin Place.
Phenomenal.
And KPMG are the prostate cancer. They're auditors, and they said, well, we'll do it, so that keeps everything above board, so nobody gets any favoritism. And Tets is obviously one of the best restaurants in Sydney, and is one of the ones that everyone loves.
Well, Sydney is very iconic, and I think the idea is, you go there and it's a trip and an experience.
It is.
And so I think that's amazing.
So I was very excited that I got it this year. It's taken me 4 years to get it, but I'm very excited that I've got it.
It's back down to the bottom again after that.